Good morning, everyone. I've been invited here today to talk a little about the research I've been doing into quite a modern form of communication, text messaging. I'm sure most of you here today will have already sent and received at least one text message today. It has become the most popular form of communication between friends and family, despite strong competition from social networking and email. We now send around 8 trillion text messages every year, which is amazing when you think that the first text message was only sent in 1992. Over half of British people now use a smartphone, and of those, over 92% choose texting as their preferred method of communication. And well over half of British people text every day, compared to only 47% who make a daily phone call. That's about 50 texts a week for the average person, which might sound a lot, but is comparatively few compared to other parts of the world. Unsurprisingly, it is young people who send the most texts. Amongst 18 to 25-year-olds, the average is 133 messages a week, which is more than double any other age group. And whilst 15% of the over 65s say they communicate by text on a daily basis, for the youngest age group, this figure rises to 9 out of 10. And it is this age group who prefer to message friends compared to the older generation whose main text recipients are family members. Apparently, men text more than women do and have a larger number of contacts that they regularly text. But they tend to be more functional in their texting and keep their texts short. Compare this to women who send fewer texts but are more likely to send long ones in which they cultivate friendships and relationships. More than half of women questioned are happy to discuss relationship issues and even express their love through a text message. For many of you, a time without text messaging might seem a dim and distant memory. In fact, it was back in December 1992 that the first ever text message was sent via the Vodafone telephone network, from a PC to a telephone. The message was a simple greeting, "Merry Christmas." The original idea was to use texting as a quick and easy way to communicate within a company, a bit like paging. In fact, it wasn't until 1994 that the first commercial text messaging service was introduced by a mobile network, and even then, consumer interest was very low. It was not until 1993 that the first text messaging service was launched in Sweden. A year later, Vodafone introduced texting to the UK. At first, texters were only able to text someone within the same network, and it wasn't until 1999 that there was full compatibility between mobile networks. At first, texting was quite a long and laborious task, as predictive texting was not introduced until 1995. Another characteristic of early texting was that each message had to be short, at 160 characters or fewer. This limitation on length is what spawned the common shorthand used by texters the world over. Abbreviations like BTW for by the way and TTYL for talk to you later have now entered the English language for good, whether we like them or not. Fears that this text speak would have an adverse effect on children's language skills have so far proven incorrect. In fact, a recent study has shown that children who are fluent in text messaging have higher than average literacy skills compared to those who don't text.